Good evening, Dr. McKay. It is Monday, January 29th, Wednesday, February 7th, Wednesday, February 14th, Wednesday at 5:08 p.m., Wednesday, February 28th. And today we're going to talk about my second visit to the Boys and Girls Club.
Hey, hey. She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom, I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81, they'll bring the crashers to the party. And you know me.
To start off our trip, we went down to the gymnasium at the Boys and Girls Club to meet up with two kids that we met earlier in the year, and we talked to them a little bit about what they did for PE. They told us they spent about 45 minutes a day for 2 weeks straight at their respective schools, and then they did 2 weeks of health for 45 minutes a day, 2 weeks straight. And it was this continuous cycle, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, throughout the school year. Then I thought about the 2 weeks that they're spending in health, and they're not getting the required physical activity requirement for those 2 weeks. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is continuous. You can't just do it a few weeks here and then decide not to do it a few weeks there. It's something that you've got to do every single day. And the more we got to talking to him, he said that, when we do these health classes and these health sessions, the only real physical activity I get is coming to the gymnasium for 30 minutes at the Boys and Girls Club. We did a lot of stuff on conflict resolution. I told them how to use their words instead of push each other and be upset. One of the biggest things I had to do, which I haven't done before, was actually discipline the child. When Elijah got in trouble for kicking a chair out from under one of the kids, the teacher took Elijah to the corner and told him to sit in the corner and look at the wall so that he wouldn't bother the kids while they were doing their activity. Unfortunately, the staff member let him use the rolly chair that he was sitting on, so he was still able to play around while he was in timeout. I helped her out by asking Elijah to please step out of the chair nicely, and I handed him one of the cafeteria-style chairs to sit in so that he couldn't mess around during his timeout. I was very courteous with Elijah. I said please and thank you, and I never yelled at him or told him to do anything in particular. I just asked him to follow the instructions, and for the most part, he was respectful of my authority and listened to me just as much, if not more so, than he listened to the staff member. Another issue we talked about was safety. For example, today we played touch football in the Boys and Girls Club gymnasium, and there were a few times when the ball was thrown to a player, the player would want to shove the guy down with a stiff arm or push him or hit him out of the way. And each time it happened, I stopped him. I told him, look at your environment and tell me if you think that's a safe thing to do. There's a time and place for physical sports like football and hockey and lacrosse and all that. But in that setting, it's not safe to do that. You have to take the environment and the climate into consideration when you want to participate in certain activities. We actually observed something that was called Healthy Habits. Healthy Habits was a little presentation that some of the employees at the Boys and Girls Club did put on for the students. And they basically passed out the My Plate diagram and had them list all the different foods they could come up with. After that, they would play a game called Healthy Benefits Bingo. The advisor would name a certain type of food. So whether it was, an apple or a grape or bread or milk. The bingo card had the types of food it was in. So the bingo card had things like dairy, oils, fats, sugars, protein, meat, etc. And the kids would have to correctly identify it and then place their bingo piece on it. And the winner of the bingo game actually got to decide which healthy snack the group got to eat for the next week, which I thought was actually a pretty cool idea. But the more we got to talking to the kids and the more I helped the kids with their bingo cards, I asked them, so what kind of things do you eat at home? The reason they struggled with the bingo card is because they didn't eat anything healthy at home. When I asked, so what do you eat for your meat? And one kid said corn dogs, pepperoni pizza, cheeseburgers. So I said, okay, well, do you eat other things too? Do you eat more lean meats like turkey and chicken and all that? And he said, well, chicken nuggets. One kid actually said to Kayla, we don't really eat vegetables unless we go out to wood grill. So a lot of these kids are not getting the proper nutrition that's required, and it's not their fault. They didn't tell us, oh, I hate vegetables, or oh, I hate fruit. I'm sure that given the chance to try it at a very early age, they would definitely take to it and like it. Fortunately, in America today, a lot of the subsidized food by the government is fast food. It's your cows, the corn that feeds the cows. It's chickens. It's stuff that feeds into the fast food industry because that's what they produce the most of. You don't usually see the ingredients for a salad subsidized by the government, unfortunately. And because of that, the kids who live in a lower income situation aren't able to afford healthy food. But when they aren't properly fed at home, they lack energy in school, they lack energy at the Boys and Girls Club, they're cranky, they're ill-behaved sometimes. And I feel bad for them because it's not all their fault. Behavior is learned, and it's learned from a variety of people. It's learned from the instructors at the Boys and Girls Club, it's learned from their teachers at school, and it's learned from the parents at home. And one of the sad things that we come to realize is that some of the parents, even if they are educated about healthy habits and healthy foods to feed their children, they don't have the means to provide it. We actually got into a bit of family life. Not the gritty details of, some of those uncomfortable conversations they have to have with the teachers, but the basics of what are they learning at that age and what kind of activities do they do while they were in health class and things like that. They've started to talk about STDs and sexual intercourse and things of that nature. You wouldn't think 7th grade is too early to start that kind of conversation, but at the same time, they're not exactly too old either. We also spent a lot of time talking about bullying. All of the students had individual stories to share about different experiences they've had, whether it was bullying another kid or whether they were being bullied. Unfortunately, one of the things that I found was a recurring theme among these kids was that the teachers stood by and barely did anything. There were several times when the teacher would turn a blind eye or where the teacher would talk to the kids but never end up doling out any more punishment than that. I feel like this experience has definitely helped me more so than the first time we went to the Boys and Girls Club, where we were there solely to be their friends and to volunteer. I definitely enjoyed this activity, and I would definitely recommend it for the next cohort to come. This is Zach Eisenhour, signing off of the last Boys and Girls Club Journal. So long, and let Drake play you off.
And you know me, turn the 02 into the 03, dog. Without 40 Ollie, there be no me. Imagine if I never met the broski.